Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I've been saying it for years. Our calling card is our effort. And even if we don't play perfectly, we know we're going to fight you to the end. For this team to come back, being on the road these last few weeks, be on a 3-game win streak, facing all kinds of odds. We talk so much about character and recruiting the right guys. Great football players, but great people. Because when things are tough, you have to rely on who people are. And our guys band together, and guys get hurt, and other guys go out there and play. We support each other, we push each other, and that's what you saw tonight. The first half was probably as poorly as we've played all year. Um, Very disappointed in how we played in the first half. Oregon State was the aggressor. We made just enough plays to kind of stay in it, but missed throws, missed catches, bad PAT attempt, some misalignments on the defensive side, and just all these little things that haven't cropped up, and they hurt us in the first half. We came out that second half. That flea flicker to Fehoko, I think, helped a ton to get some momentum back on our side. Guys started really getting back into it. Still, Oregon State's done a heck of a job. John Smith and his staff really putting together game plans. Their game planned us very well. Their movements and play action games were difficult. So much concentration on Justin Jefferson. But I will say this. Jefferson. The way we played against him, he's a great player. We give him a ton of respect. But for us to keep him under 100 yards, I think was a big deal. That was a big deal. He's their main focus. They still made some other plays that our guys have to be able to make. But we wanted to slow down the running game, and we did that tonight.
We will open it up for questions. Hopefully everybody here saw the email. Next week's schedule, we'll have an update on that in the morning. Questions? We'll start it off with Jacob Rayburn. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Coach, congrats. And, talking about the slow start, when you see the team be able to bounce back from that, and you talk a little bit about maybe one of the plays that helped spark that turnaround, what else kind of stood out to you on the sideline and on the field of the guys finding rhythm and being able to get their feet under them?
Well, in the second half, we got some stops on the defensive side. Kept them out of the end zone, made a punt. And those things are huge. We needed to get the ball back. We were down. And defensively, we stepped up really big at the end. But with all the guys down, all the guys banged up, and we have to play other guys. And I mean, Donjay Logan is a very mature, tough kid that we recruited out of Arizona. High character individual. Is one of those guys when you talk to him, you don't feel like you're talking to a teenager. This was during the recruiting process, and other guys had passed him, but he kept studying, he kept being ready. And his number got called today, and he played well. He played really smart, played really aggressive. Made some good tackles, and that's who makes up our football team. Guys that are ready when the number's called.
And who can you share with us didn't finish the game because of injuries?
So a lot of guys were in and out. Thunderkeck is one I know for sure. Other guys, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
We'll move next to Troy Clarity. Go ahead, Troy.
Hey, Coach, can you first take us through the evolution of the 2-point play calls that you had, the 2 chances that you had at it? What were you thinking the first time around, and then the second time around?
Well, we didn't go forward at the beginning of the third quarter. I'm just old school like that. Like you don't chase points. It's the phrase I remember growing up. You don't chase points at the beginning of the third quarter. As you get towards the end of the third quarter, into fourth quarter, that's when that chart comes into play. So we didn't go for it early on, and then later, we tried to give ourselves a run pass option. We've got really good jump ball receivers. We haven't hit one all year, which is just shocking to me because these guys are so good at it. But we got the pass interference. Then we came back. We got the Houston Haimuli in the flat, a little pick play, but ball's caught behind the line of scrimmage, so it's technically a screen. So we're able to score there. So we've got multiple 2-point plays in our bag, and we're ready to pull out at least 2 in that third quarter.
Young wide receivers, obviously a big subplot coming into this one. Take me through the things that were going through your mind during Humphrey's big catch on Stanford's final offensive drive.
Honestly, I didn't know it was a catch until somebody told me it was. I saw the ball bounce up in the air, and I looked at the scoreboard, tried to calculate the time. We're going to have to punt, etc. And they said he caught it. I said, "You've got to be kidding me." So I just called the next play, and then I looked up and I saw the replay, which I think a lot of us will see that replay many times over the next couple of days on SportsCenter, etc. But once again, John Humphreys is one of those guys that we think he's a star in the making. He's finding his way as a freshman, still learning a lot, putting a lot on him right now, learning multiple positions with all the injuries that we've had. But we think this guy's going to be a superstar in college football, and it's good to continue to get him some reps.
Next up in the queue, Daniel Martinez-Crams. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Coach. Very similar. Can you take me through the flea flicker call? Was that something you had drawn up at halftime, and what went into that?
Well, we honestly been working on it all week, and we actually left it up to the quarterback. He could change the play if he thought the free safety was deep enough, but he didn't think the free safety was deep enough, and they were being very aggressive. And Simi Fajoko's 6'4", but he runs a 4.3. So we knew at the very least, if that safety was going to stand flat-footed, Simi's going to get behind him. And glad Davis left it on and threw a great ball, plenty of air, and let him run under it. And those two guys are a dangerous combination when everything's right. And we had a couple of opportunities, didn't get the protection we needed, but that was a big one to really give us a kickstart in the second half.
Let's go to RJ Abadia. Go ahead, RJ.
Coach, in a year where Stanford tight ends are not being celebrated the way they usually are, you've managed to sting the last three opponents with some pretty timely plays to both Tucker and Scooter. Can you talk about maybe catching teams kind of sleeping on some guys that maybe they shouldn't be, and just the way those play calls evolve over the course of the game?
Well, I think the big thing for us is two things. Number one is to really continue to always know what our guys do well, and fit those into the game plan. Tucker Fisk is by no means a out wide, split him out receiving tight end. He's not Kobe Fleener, Zach Ertz, etc. But what he is 270 pounds that does not like to get tackled. We saw that on his high school film. I mean, every ball that he caught, it took 4 and 5 guys to bring him down. And Tucker and I had a conversation in the offseason, and he wants to play in the NFL. And I said, well, here's the deal. You got to be able to work the middle of the field. You don't have to run a 4-4. You got to be able to run basic crosses and find the ball in the middle of shallow crosses. Got to be able to block, and I think he's one of the best blocking tight ends in America. But at the same time, because we use so much run game and protection for him, he gets lost. So we'll have those tight end screens in there for him. I think this is maybe the third or fourth one that he's caught this year. And he's always ready for those. So I was so excited for him because he does so much dirty work, and you got to take care of the guys that do the dirty work. So I was excited for him to get that touchdown.
And then just the last thing for me, you guys have had so much taken off the table just with the shortness of the season, with Davis not playing. How much satisfaction are you taking from this season and the way it's playing out, even though it's not a typical 12-game season and the same things that are on the table are not on the table this year?
Well, I mean, two things. Number one, and it's a waste of breath, but I'm still going to say it. I mean, this is the ultimate what if season, right, for us. It's the ultimate what if season. I would love to see this football team with Walker Little. I'd love to see this football team with Paulson Adebo. I'd love to see this football team play 12 games healthy with all the guys that could play. That would be so exciting. You're seeing our guys continue to grow up in front of our eyes. And even though we're not playing perfectly, you're seeing a team that's learning how to win. And that's one of those things I think we lost last year because we had so many young guys. The winning football games happens in the fourth quarter, and it's about making plays and staying close and staying tight and trusting yourself and trusting your technique, and doing the things that you work on. And that fumble doesn't happen just by happenstance. I mean, every week we work on punching the ball out. Every week we work on ripping the ball out, and particularly the inside linebackers and outside linebackers. I mean, that's what they do every single day. And our coaches, Coach Anderson, Eric, they scream it all the time. Get the ball out, get the ball out, get the ball out. And they celebrate it. So it's one of the things that just doesn't happen in the crunch time of a game. It's something that comes second nature to our guys because we work it so much.
Thank you.
We're going to go with 2 final questions. First of 2, Harold Gutman, go ahead.
Hi, you had at least 2 new starters on each side of the ball. Is there anyone you're particularly happy with how they kind of stepped in there, or anyone really caught your eye tonight?
It's really hard to say. As mentioned before, Curtis Robinson and Levani Damuni are just making so many plays out there. I think our pass rush was better this year. The quarterback escaped a couple of times, but really for the first time this year, we really got multiple pressures off the edge. Stephen Herron really coming off the edge was great to see. Pushing the pocket, getting in the quarterback's face, making him pull the ball down. We got some timely coverage opportunities where the quarterback couldn't throw it, had to throw it away. So many things we still have to talk about, and honestly, I keep myself from getting in trouble. But we got to have a conversation about what constitutes a targeting penalty by an offensive player. I got to go back and look at that one again. We talked about it with the officials, but I got to go back and look at that. And you all know I'm the head of the rules committee, and that's one of those things we've talked about at length for player safety. So that's another conversation we have to have down the road. But the bottom line for us is so many guys come in there. I mentioned Don J. Logan, but so many guys coming in and been playing really hard and playing through some nicks and some bruises. But the bottom line for me is having high character guys that pick each other up in the most difficult times.
Just, you mentioned it's kind of a what-if season. I think it's part of it, it's your third straight win with Mills on full preparation. Does any part of you think, if Mills didn't have that positive test right at the start, you guys would be playing for a championship on Friday?
If Mills didn't have that phony positive test, at the beginning of the year, it would have been very, very interesting. It would have been very interesting. That Oregon game, the only incompletions we had really were deep balls where guys hadn't really worked as well together, and a couple of drops and a deflected pass. So that would have been interesting, but we can't live in the world of woulda, coulda, shoulda. We're gonna live in the world of being on a 3-game win streak and being over 500 and hopefully build some momentum for next week.
One final question for Coach, and it'll go to Albert Thomas. Go ahead, Albert.
Hey, Coach, just kind of building off of what you were just saying and kind of living in that moment. After the Cal game, you said, we want to be a great football team and we're close to getting good. Where would you evaluate the team at now?
Well, differently after the first half, because we were not good in the first half. After the second half, much better and much cleaner, trusting the big guys up front. We missed some blocks the first half that were just so hard, and we made those blocks in the second half and got Austin a couple of nice creases, and we give that guy a crease, he can make some big plays. We had a couple of really difficult protection downs, but then when we really needed it, we got some really nice protection, and our quarterback and receivers were able to make some plays. Bottom line for us, if we can just stay clean, we can stay in rhythm, we do have a chance to be very good. So hopefully we'll see our best next week.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks for your time tonight. Congrats on the win.
Thanks, everybody.